Hello and welcome back to another review. For today's video, I've got the 20.5 foot tall Colossal Snowman family being sold exclusively at home this year. This will set you back $350, making it the most expensive at-home inflatable of all time. That's actually not its highest accolade. This is the biggest Gemmy design there ever was. And it's a very, very special design for that. I did not expect us to get a 20.5 foot tall Snowman family really ever. I thought the Snowman family concept was pretty cool, but never did I think they would take it to this sort of level. I always thought that the 20 foot height was kind of reserved for just singular designs, but no, they're pushing the boundaries even in 2022, and that's very hopeful for the future of Gemmy Industries. Now, taking a look at the rest of the box, it is quite large. It's actually bigger than two 20-foot pumpkin stacks put together. I did a little comparison, which means it's larger than really any other 20-foot inflatable because I think they all use the same box dimensions. It also does not have any pull tabs. It is just one large flap up at the top with tape just going around all the edges like that. Now, I did not get this from the at-home store. That's pretty important. I got this from Justin Johns on Facebook, who decided he did not want to use his Snowman family. He actually got it for $320 because he had a discount, and he was kind enough to sell it. He easily could have sold it for $400 to $450 because resellers are already on this inflatable. He decided not to do that, sold it to me for $320 plus shipping. Shipping was $24, making my total purchase $344. So for me to get this under retail is really cool. I had a friend who got this for I think $290 who had a coupon. I didn't luck into something quite so nice, but I did get this for under retail price, and I have to be happy with that. I got it for really even less because with tax it would have been somewhere around, I don't know, $370, $380 or something like that. But no, $344, still very expensive, still a huge investment for an inflatable, but definitely worth it considering you're getting a 20.5 foot design plus a 16, plus I'd say around a 9 or 10. One could make the argument that this is worth $500, but that is a very weak stance to take, and the reason for that is that would be assuming that each Snowman has a fan of its own, because typically a 20-foot inflatable retail price $200, 16 around the same, and then a 9 to 10 foot base fan would be somewhere, I think, close to $70 to $100. If you want to do the math, that equates to roughly $470 to $500, but you can't do that because this inflatable only has one fan. So I think $350, they really did nail the price. I think that's a very fair retail for this inflatable, and you know what? If you can get your hands on one, I would say definitely grab it now, or else you'll be paying, like I said, a gouged price. Also, not every at-home store is getting the Snowman family, making it even harder to track down. So I knew from the get-go that I was most likely going to have to ask someone to go grab me one. Fortunately, I lucked into my situation, so I'm very appreciative for that. Moving to the back of the box, we will find a comparison to a full-grown man. Quite daunting. I've dealt with a lot of 20-foot inflatables, but nothing quite to this extent. I'll stand back here just to get a better view. It's quite hard to get the box in the full frame. The price tag is at the bottom right-hand corner. It's item number IN90 right there. And then, of course, last but not least, your 2022 Gemmy Industries little mark at the bottom. So, with that, let's go ahead and open up the 20.5 foot tall Colossal Snowman family. Tested it out, staked it down, and we are just about ready to go. Now, I can't confirm this has a YEF 125, or maybe I can't, considering with the engravings that they do now, it becomes almost impossible to see the model fan, but there it is, kind of, if I can get the lighting right, YEF 125. Now, this takes a whopping 8.5 minutes to inflate, which is an extremely long time for any inflatable. I never thought I would see the day that a YEF 125 required anything over probably 2.5 to 3 minutes to inflate an inflatable, at least a 200, and if not a 200, then multiple YEF 125s, or maybe two YEF 200s, who knows, but they did not do that, and it takes forever to inflate. It feels like a YEF 60 on the 20-foot Santa is basically its equivalent. So that's the fan. Let's go ahead and inflate it. kind of at a loss for words here. It's pretty huge. It's a very, very cool inflatable. I can't get over just the sheer size of it. It dwarfs literally any inflatable you put next to it. This one will take the cake every time. The price is a hard pill to swallow at $350. No doubt, that's very, very expensive, but it is a massive design. You get so much out of it. It will create endless memories, and you'll be the talk of wherever you are. Trust me on that. You've got 5 tether attachments at the bottom. 3 of them are actually visible. The other 2 we'll get to. They're around the inflatable, so just hang tight on them. I've got everything staked down on this inflatable. Normally, I don't stake every single thing that should be, but with this, I didn't want to take any chances. It's an extremely heavy inflatable. With the slightest breeze, the whole thing will just tilt, so I immediately staked it down once it was fully inflated. The attire for them is kind of alternating, so you've got red buttons on her with a green shirt, and then white buttons for him with a red shirt with green buttons. So it's all alternating throughout the design, and I think that looks really good. I trust Gemmy in doing that. They actually gave them the same colored scarf, which I think is pretty cool. Gemmy does a good job in making sure nothing is too monochromatic. It flows throughout the inflatable, and they nailed it with this one like they, usually do. Moving towards the back, we've got our first tether right there. Each parent has 2, the child has 0, so all in all it has 4 tethers. It actually does quite well, surprisingly. It doesn't need really any more than that, I don't think. A zipper for each parent as well to easily access the C7s. I'm not sure how many C7s this inflatable has, but we will take a look at night. Obviously, the tethers cross at the back, and her hand on the box, so this is wrong, essentially, if you base it off the stock image and how Gemmy, showcased it. The hand I have right now goes kind of on his waist, but it's supposed to be more out in front. But I looked at that, and you know what? I'll just show you now. I did not like the look of it whatsoever. It crinkles like that, right? And I know that the way I had it still is not perfect, but it certainly looks better than what you just saw. So there is a crease right there, but it is in no way as bad as how they're, saying it should be. You've got a tether which goes right across her hand. If I do it this way, there is certainly a lot of, overlapping with this inflatable, but it's okay because it's all really just in the back and no one would ever be able to see it. Daddy Snowman gets the fan. I thought maybe they would do an extension towards the back, but they did not. The air just passes through him towards the right, and then I guess the child that way. Now you've got the other tether attachments that we hadn't gotten to yet, here and right over there. I've used various stakes that I've just picked up throughout my garage. I didn't really put too much effort into it. I just wanted to get this thing for sure secured and ready to go for this review. The wind has calmed down, thankfully. It was very bad today, but has since let up. I'll move back to get a different angle of it. As I keep walking and keep walking, you can see already some of the lights showing through. So I think the dad, at least what I saw when I opened up the zipper, was probably 5 or so, maybe even 6. I'm hoping that this inflatable has at least at 10 at the very minimum, but most likely it won't be much more than that because there will never be a 10 C7 strand on a 16-foot inflatable ever again. I'm thinking of the 16-foot Reaper that I have from 2013. They're not going to do it. Lighting is now somewhat scarce. I still think that their lights look good, but I wish they would either add more lights or just switch to LED C7s because they look so much better. The prototype Thriller Tree that I got this past Halloween season was the brightest inflatable I'd ever seen, and that's because the guy replaced the lights inside his. I'm honestly thinking of converting to that, but that will be very expensive and quite tedious because it would be probably like 200 to 300 C7 bulbs I would have to go inside, open them up, replace them, and then screw them back on, and that would just be too tall of a task, I think. I think what we have now still looks very good, and it kind of keeps the classic Gemmy feel as well. No animation, no sound, no kaleidoscope, but it's the scale that it's on that just makes up for everything like that. And the spiral stakes, I haven't mentioned these yet, that normally are used on the ground tether attachments are sidelined. I absolutely despise these stakes, and for, somewhat good reason. It's just more of a pet peeve of mine. I don't like screwing them in the ground. Oftentimes the ground will be just too hard, and I can only get it to about here or so. Also, if you step on them, the neck will bend very easily. Now that's actually not too bad because it just secures it a little bit better at the bottom, but still I do not like the spiral stakes whatsoever. It just feels better to stake a big fat plastic stake in the ground. and I don't know, it just satisfies me a little bit more. As of now, I can only account for 3 zippers, the 2 up at the top and then 1 obviously by the fan. There could be more. There's a lot of white on this inflatable. It messes with my eyes, so I've not discovered any additional zippers, but there's still a lot of openings for this inflatable. Those zippers up at the top are huge and make it really easy to, first of all, deflate, and then second of all, reach any C7s you might need to get to. So I think that'll do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching my video on the 20.5-foot tall Colossal Snowman family being sold at the at-home store this year for $349.99. It is just a behemoth. If you're on the fence about it, perfectly understandable. If you're 80% sure you'll get it now. And that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Bye.